Belville.com.
Welcome back, everyone. 14 after the hour, and today in Behind the Headlines, we're taking a look at ABC News 2020 program that airs tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. The story concerns Washington parents that use marijuana who are accused of child abuse. The couple are Jesse and Vicka Thompson. They're from Sedro-Woolley, Washington. And of course, in Washington state, marijuana use is legal, as well as medical marijuana use having an affirmative defense in the state. Both are medical users. Jesse is a cancer survivor who uses for pain, and Vicka uses for arthritis and a nervous condition. In addition, the couple run a medical marijuana dispensary and garden store called The Grow Shop. Now, they are parents to two children, a 5-year-old named Jerry and a 13-year-old Sohani, who is Vicka's son from a previous marriage. But they insist that being marijuana consumers does not mean they can't also be good parents. Vicka told 2020, quote, "It just means I have an elevated mood. It doesn't mean I'm incapacitated or that I can't think straight. I'm on pot right now, and I'm able to parent," end quote. But of course, as these cases often do, it went awry. The Thompsons had an employee that they had to let go. That employee went and narked on them to Child Protective Services. Child Protective Services told them, or she told Child Protective Services, according to Jesse, that they are feeding our children marijuana all the time, that they have access to it in our home and in our business. Within days of that call, Child Protective Services got a hold of Jerry's half-brother, Sohani, the 13-year-old, who told authorities that his mom had fed him a goo ball. Goo ball is a peanut butter raisin ball with some marijuana in it, some concentrate in it. And the problem with Sohani is that he has these aggressive tendencies. He's a teenage boy and gets just a little too aggressive and violent and mean, according to his mom. And she says treating him with the cannabis helps to relieve those aggressive tendencies and get him to, quote, "look inside and relax," end quote. Now, CPS didn't react immediately, but the city did. They shut down their business, the Grow Shop, and CPS requested a meeting with the Thompsons. Jesse didn't want to go into a CPS meeting without a lawyer present, which is a very, very wise move. So CPS didn't reschedule the meeting. Instead, they just took their little boy away and made him live with an aunt. The only way they could visit him is to visit him at the local CPS office. Jesse was devastated by having his 5-year-old taken away, saying, quote, "It's destroying me. I can't not be with my son. He is all that matters," end quote. And the older boy, the 13-year-old Sohani, went to live with his father full time, leading Vicka to say, quote, "I felt like my heart might stop," end quote. The Thompsons went to court to fight Child Protective Services, which had the 5-year-old Jerry take a hair follicle drug test. When the results came back, Jerry tested positive for THC. The couple were accused of posing a risk to Jerry's well-being by feeding marijuana to him. They denied they feed marijuana to the 5-year-old. They admitted it for the 13-year-old and his aggressive tendencies, but Vicka also did say that she used a marijuana salve to treat a rash on the 5-year-old's skin, a salve which of course would not put him at risk of getting high. Now, they had weeks and weeks of supervised meetings and numerous hearings, and eventually the court commissioners decided to allow Jesse and Vicka to take Jerry back home. The commissioner stated he saw no evidence of harm, even though there was evidence of THC in Jerry's body. The couple's attorney, Jennifer Ani, said, quote, "The law says there has to be serious physical harm. A child who ingests an edible is not going to suffer serious physical harm. They may go to sleep. They may be a little out of it. Children can't be removed, however, because of bad judgment. If they could, lots of people wouldn't have kids because we all make mistakes," end quote. Now, in returning Jerry back to the home, the court commissioner set strict conditions, which included that he's not exposed to marijuana smoke or marijuana edibles in any form. And if he is to test positive again, the court commissioner said he would not be allowed to live with the couple. Vicka said, quote, "We're going to hide the marijuana. I definitely feel like I shouldn't give it to children. But, she added, if it was legal to give marijuana to children, she would do so. Quote, if I lived somewhere else and a doctor was looking over me, telling me that it was okay, then I would think, yeah, it's totally safe, especially to put salve on a cut or a rash, end quote. And folks, when I read stories like this, I can't help but to recall my own childhood when having an ear infection, I remember my grandfather blowing cigarette smoke down my ears. I also recall numerous parents that I've known who have given their children small doses of whiskey or alcohol to deal with teething pain or when they're colicky and won't sleep. If we had to have CPS called on every couple that used their own judgment to treat their children in a way that might not be considered politically correct, like the attorney Jennifer Ani said, very few people would have kids in their homes anymore. It's time to seriously reform Child Protective Services and these gross misactions